This video is for Science 7, and we are going to show that some mixtures are just really hard to separate. We're going to simulate an oil spill and see if we can figure out how to separate our oil from our water. So for our oil, we're going to have cocoa powder and vegetable oil be our crude oil. So we'll mix that up really well. And here's our water. We're going to add a few drops of blue food coloring so we can have a bit more contrast. I'll give that a stir. Okay, and then we're going to have our oil spill. We're just going to have a nice calm oil spill. And you can see, we have a lot of gunk. Our oil is mostly floating to the top. And we've made quite an oil slick there. Here are some of the materials we're going to use to try to mop up our oil spill. Got things from around the house, some sponges, cut up jeans, paper towels, shredded wheat. There's some peat moss and some cotton puffs and makeup pads. And now we'll test out a few things at a time to see, just what works to mop up our oil spill. So we'll start with some cotton balls. You can see, they float on top, which is really handy because we want to get the oil and not the water. Flip that over. So we'll pop in some cotton balls and just let them float around and soak up some of that oil. Okay, they seem to work pretty well, but one of the problems we encounter is, we want them to absorb the oil, but not the water. So if things start sinking, you're going to end up with water in your absorbent too. So we'll fish these guys out and we'll try our next product. And you can see, when we start stirring things, we end up with more of a mess. So imagine if this was happening when there's waves on the ocean. So see, we've absorbed a bunch of water along with our oil there. So that adds to the amount of waste we're generating. So let's try the next one. We're going to drop in some old jeans. So these are just ripped up jeans from, that had a lot of holes. And you can see that while they soak up some of the oil, again, we run into problems where they soak up the water too. But they are pulling off some of our oil. Okay, we'll try some paper towels from the machine shop. This is the kind the mechanics like to use to get oil off their hands. And as long as they're floating, they're soaking oil. But again, if we leave it too long, we're going to end up soaking up water as well. Okay, another thing that was said might be good is shredded wheat. So I'm going to make a point to hold this above the water, but think how hard this would be on, an ocean. And if you leave it too long, you're going to end up with a lot of your ocean water soaked in too and a big soggy mess. Another suggestion was using peat moss, so we'll sprinkle that on. We're going to need a spoon to get it off. And again, just grabbing the surface, give it a little stir. This is one that seemed like a good idea, but it's hard to actually scoop up after. Again, it's hard to tell if we're making things better or worse. So you can see we've taken quite a bit of our oil off. There's still a lot left. We've generated a lot of waste. One thing we can try is to add a bit of soap and see what that does to the surface. Okay, you can see that clearing right away. But as you can see, it's really hard to separate this mixture. 3 drops?
1.
That's good.
Okay, that's 3.
Yep.
Should I mix it?
Nope. Okay.